What's up, everybody? Philly Soccer Page post-game show. I'm Mike Servedio here with Greg Orlandini tonight. Union run out 3-0 winners over Columbus Crew, undermanned Union side, only fielding 5 players on the bench. But good effort from the guys that were available tonight.
Very good effort. I think a good bounce-back game for a lot of guys. Chief amongst them was David Acom, who, coming off the tough season last year, kind of only getting in a couple some spot duty so far this year, gets the start, gets the 2 goals. We find out after the game that he's dealing with some really bad personal tragedy with his father, and he was able to soldier on through it and just had a great game. And Ilsinho had a bounce-back game, played probably one of his best two-way games.
A lot of defense. Commenting on the press conference.
He was. He worked very hard on the defensive end of the ball, gets a goal. I thought Harris had his best game of the year so far. Just was very, very steady. Got caught up one time defensively earlier in the game, but was very steady on the ball and was just moving the ball around. And the defense played great. And he only let up the one shot and get the clean sheet.
Let's talk about the defense a little bit. Good for the clean sheet. I thought Kai Wagner particularly was really strong in the left back position. I think he's been one of the most consistent performers over 4 games.
Yeah, he's been probably the Union's best player so far this season. Very consistent. You know exactly what you're getting when you put him into the lineup. He's a metronome. I mean, he goes up there, he plays his position very well. Doesn't matter who's in front of him, who he has to defend. He's part of the attack. He moves the ball when he has it, and he's able to get back and is rarely caught wrong-footed or caught out of position.
Home debut for Brendan Aronson tonight. Doesn't come through with the performance that he did in Atlanta, which would have been hard to beat. Decent performance. He ended up coming off. I think Jim told us it was just a little bit of cramp at the end. But another strong performance. It's going to be hard to get him out of the lineup at this point.
It is, and that's the question I asked Jim in the press conference was, you have that emotional high, the adrenaline from your first start, you get your goal, then you come home to the home stadium, and that high kind of comes down a bit. How do you deal with that? And he said, he didn't have as good a game against Atlanta, which would be tough to replicate, honestly, but I thought he played very well, and he looks the part. He looks like he belongs, and he really plays that number 10 spot. He uses the whole field. He will pop up where there is space. He doesn't seem to bias one side or the other. If the play is kind of happening on the left, he'll track there and finds the space there. If it's going on the right or in the center, he just kind of really moves well with the play and with the ball. Just reads the situation very well, and had a couple times with the ball. I thought did maybe a little too much, was dispossessed when maybe the simple play was better, like was able to beat a guy and maybe did like one extra move that he didn't really need to do and end up losing the ball a couple times. But that's youth. That's that kind of decision making comes.
We saw 2 season debuts tonight, one for Olivier Mbaizo, who came in for Ilsinho and did a pretty good job slotting in on the right side of midfield, and then a short cameo for Anthony Fontana, who came in late after Aronson pulled up. I don't know if we can take too much away. It's good to see the guys getting involved.
Yeah, I'd like to see Fontana more. I think he plays a role that the Union can use. He could play that deeper spot and kind of sub in for guys like Bedoya or sub in for Harris. And Mbaizo's got to get on the field. He's the guy that. He's the reason why Keegan Rosenberry got traded. If you listen to what Ernst Tanner was saying, and he just hasn't been on the field except for this spot duty. And there was some. He came up a little injured through the training camp and all that, so he's taking a little time to get his fitness there. But you kind of put the onus on him by moving a really good MLS player in Keegan, a guy you could pencil in every day in the lineup. To open this spot up for him, you really need to start integrating him into the lineup.
I'd like to see him more. Jim talked a little bit about it at the press conference. Didn't really seem like he wanted to get into it. They only found out late Thursday that Marco Fabian would be unavailable through suspension, which is a crazy thing, being that the foul was 2 weeks ago at this point, and there's already been a game played. They only found out this morning that their new signing, Montero, would be unavailable because the paperwork's not done. Sometimes it does feel like someone's out for the Union.
It does, and it's always weird with international transfers like this. There's something that I didn't get dotted or somewhere, and it holds things up. That happens. It's rare, but it happens. This Fabian thing is ridiculous, though.
I didn't think it was a red card when it happened. I still don't think it was a red card. We certainly don't think it's 2 games.
No, absolutely not. We could debate that, but you have. the game was 2 weeks ago. You already suspended him for one game. He's already not played one game, and you go into the next week not knowing who a very important piece of your team what he's doing. That it's a really bad job and a bad look for the league.
Yeah,
and I don't understand why when the suspension came down, they say, okay, 2 games, so 2 games.
Right.
Whether it's right or wrong, we can argue that point,
yeah.
but.
At least
at this point in the progression, say it's 2 games, say it's 1 game, say it's 3 games. Just say what it is instead of okay, here's 1 game. Oh, here's another game.
Yeah,
it's just a bad look for the MLS.
I agree. I think we'll wrap up there. Union 3-0 victors over Columbus Crew tonight. They travel to FC Cincinnati for the team's first meet up next week. Back here in 2 weeks against FC Dallas, and we'll catch you then.